Thank you to Trade Coffee for sponsoring today's video. With Trade, you can discover the freshest coffee from the nation's best local roasters. And the best part is, it's tailored to you, and then delivered straight to your door. All you have to do is take a short quiz, and they match you with your perfect cup of coffee. And if you're not happy with your first match, they will send you a new bag completely free. If you're like me, you love that first cup of coffee in the morning. And with Trade, you're getting the most flavorful and delicious coffee around. This week I'm trying Greater Goods Coffee, the Kickstart blend. And its rich and flavorful taste is perfect for sitting back and watching a little Recollection Road. Trade makes drinking really good coffee at home so easy. So get yours today. Right now, Trade is offering new subscribers a total of $30 off your first order, plus free shipping when you go to drinktrade.com/recollection or click the link in the description below. That's more than 40 cups of coffee for free. Get started by taking their quiz at drinktrade.com/recollection and let Trade find you a coffee you'll love. That's drinktrade.com/recollection for $30 off. The 1950s are full of so many memorable moments. I decided to put together another collection of quintessential things you might remember from the 1950s. This time, I used the comments from the first video to create the list. So if you grew up in the 1950s, you will remember many of these things, provided by you, the viewers. With the warm weather of summer, drive-in restaurants were the place to be. Car hops could be found buzzing around the parking lot on skates, delivering hot cheeseburgers, mouth-watering milkshakes, and golden French fries. As teenagers began driving, these drive-in spots provided the perfect place to hang out with friends or grab a quick bite to eat with a date. Family life in the 1950s was pretty cookie-cutter. With mom staying home to take care of the kids, the house, and the cooking, dad would head off to work in the family's only car. This was how most households operated throughout the decade. Popular ways for kids to get around the neighborhood may have included a radio flyer wagon. Having one of these red wagons to transport things around the neighborhood made collecting bottles, delivering newspapers, or pulling around friends much easier. Another four-wheeled must-have was a pair of metal roller skates with an adjustable key. You could almost count who had a pair by looking for the kids with the skinned knees. On Sundays, in small towns and cities across the country, downtown stores along Main Street were closed down. This was to allow everyone to attend church services and have a day of rest. So if you ran out of milk, it was common to knock on your neighbor's door to borrow some, rather than to drive to a store. Do you remember the Fuller brush man going door to door selling his cleaning tools? These salesmen covered assigned areas and would talk up housewives and even help them clean by demonstrating the effectiveness of their brushes. These sales tactics made the Fuller brush man an iconic part of America's past. During the 1950s, another item sold door to door was the Encyclopedia Britannica. These essential books of knowledge were expensive, and many households paid for their set by making smaller payments. And just as they were making the last payments, a new edition would be issued, and once again, you would see the friendly Encyclopedia Britannica salesman cruising the streets. Katie Keene was a popular comic published by Archie Comics during the 1950s. The self-proclaimed queen of pinups and fashion also was well known for the paper dolls that were included in the comics. Fans were even invited to design their own fashions, which could be mailed in and published. Gold bond stamps were a popular loyalty program for chain grocery stores and service stations. Once you collected enough stamps to fill a book, you could redeem it for merchandise. Kids during the 50s loved helping mom lick and paste the stamps into the booklets after each visit to the store. TV westerns were what every boy was watching in the 1950s. Shows like The Lone Ranger, The Roy Rogers Show, and Gunsmoke had every kid sporting a holster and cap gun as they played outside. Playing cowboys and Indians and cops and robbers was a common way for you to show off your favorite TV cowboy impression. If they weren't obsessed with cowboys, then they were probably wearing a coonskin cap and watching Davy Crockett. This popular Disney miniseries had kids everywhere exploring the wild frontier of their neighborhoods. The Western Flyer bike, which was sold at Western Auto, was the first bicycle for many kids across America. This classic American icon was built well, but was also affordable. This made the Western Flyer a perfect gift to wake up to on Christmas morning. Disney's legendary television series, The Mickey Mouse Club, has delighted children in America since it first premiered on ABC in 1955. The hour-long variety show aired on weekdays in the afternoon and featured a cast of kids, including Annette Funicello, Bobby Burgess, and Cubby O'Brien. Did you have a favorite Mouseketeer? How many of you had mothers that would sew and make you clothes to wear? A Singer sewing machine was well used in the 1950s, with fewer options for shopping available. Not to mention it was much more affordable than store-bought clothing. So many mothers could be found hunched over a sewing machine with patterns of cloth that would soon become a dress or a pair of shorts. Shopping from mail-order catalogs was big in the 1950s. Sears, JCPenney, and Montgomery Ward all offered catalogs for every season, but none was as popular as the Christmas catalog. Kids across the country would wear the pages out, circling and marking pages as they made their Christmas list. Another tradition of the Christmas season was stopping by the downtown department stores to see the decorated window displays. This was a popular way for department stores of the time to entice customers into their stores. The development of the polio vaccine was a milestone, which led to the mass inoculation of millions of American children in 1955. With polio disabling nearly 35,000 children per year, the vaccine brought an end to the fear of public gatherings, especially during the summer months. During the 50s, they still had doctors making house calls. In smaller towns, the local doctor often went to the home to tend to the sick and prescribe remedies. This practice peaked in the 1930s, but was still occurring well into the 1950s. How many of you remember reading Weekly Readers at school? This short publication brought awareness to school-aged children about what was happening around the world, and they were usually distributed on Friday afternoons. Speaking of school, the annual class picture was always a memorable moment, as you lined up next to one another with your teacher usually standing beside the group. There are probably many of these class pictures mixed in with other dusty keepsakes that are packed away in boxes, just waiting to be reminisced over. Dropping by your local hobby shop on a Saturday morning was common practice in the 1950s. Here, kids of all ages could find just about anything to keep them busy on the weekends, from games to Lionel trains, and stacks of model kits and balsa wood airplanes. Transistor radios were something every kid wanted, and many had. These handheld radios allowed you to take music with you anywhere you went. With the growing popularity of rock and roll music, these devices could be found everywhere in the 1950s, from the bedroom to the barber shop. While you were getting a flat top or a ducktail haircut, you might also be listening to the news or a sporting event. Keeping busy while playing outside wasn't hard in the 1950s. Girls enjoyed playing double dutch or hopscotch, while boys might have been playing kick the can. Kids lived most of their lives outside during this time, so games like red light, green light kept them active and having fun. If you enjoyed this video, check out the description for links that help support the channel. And as always, thank you so much for watching.